Hey everybody, welcome to Mayberry Memories Episode 1. Over the course of the next few months, my plan, if all goes according to, is to watch Season 1 and review each episode. Maybe better stated is recap each episode. I am by no means a critic. As a matter of fact, when it comes to the Andy Griffith Show, I am a huge fan. I love this show. It was part of my childhood, and it continues to be something that I go to from time to time just when I want to feel good about things, when I want to go back to a simpler time. And the first episode of Mayberry Memories is dedicated to episode 1 of season 1, which was titled The New Housekeeper, and it centered around, well, it was the introduction of Aunt B. I would say this is a very Opie-centric episode in that really deals with Opie coming to grips with the fact that the woman who had taken care of him to this point in his life, Rose, she was getting married as we see on the big screen television here, and she was leaving, and in her place Aunt B was coming to live with Andy and Opie. Opie has a terribly difficult time, as I mentioned, coming to terms with this. As a matter of fact, he tells Andy in no uncertain terms that he will not love her, and he is not going to warm to her. As a matter of fact, he goes as far as to show Andy that, hey, we can take care of ourselves. He makes Andy breakfast, his dad breakfast, and it is a very funny, humorous, heartwarming scene, as you might expect. Opie, I should say, is not much of a cook, although he does his best to convince his father that they can get along, just a couple of bachelors. Andy does have Aunt B come and live with them, and of course a number of comical scenes transpire where Aunt B really doesn't fit in, despite her best efforts to fit in and have Opie see that she can be part of the family. It's just apparent that she isn't going to be Rose. And this scene here is particularly heart-wrenching in that Opie's not praying that Aunt B will stay with them, quite the opposite. Now, what happens is what you might expect in that, well, I don't know if you expect it or not. Opie comes to realize that it's not so much that he and Andy need Aunt B, but he recognizes, and it's not overtly stated, but it's inferred, he recognizes that Aunt B needs them. And that's quite an aha moment for a young man of Opie's age. There are a number of great actors in the Andy Griffith Show. Don Knotts gets the lion's share of the acclaim, as well as does Andy Griffith, but boy, Aunt B and Opie, and it's Frances Bavier, I think is how you say her name, and of course Ron Howard. They just do a really great job. This is definitely, this episode spotlights their performances, and gets the whole series off to a rousing start. Now, I mentioned Don Knotts, and what episode of Andy Griffith would be complete without some hysterical hijinks from Officer Barney Fife? And this episode is no different. We start to see the kind of deputy that Barney is, in that he arrests an elderly lady for jaywalking, and he is going to fingerprint her, and book her, and probably incarcerate her. Fortunately, Andy steps in and stops his cousin. By the way, during the first episode, they talk about the fact that they're related. They are cousins. Stops his cousin from doing something that just, well, overreacting, which is kind of a hallmark of Officer Barney Fife. Anyway, great episode, a fun episode, and one that really, like I said, it just got the whole series off to a great start in that you can feel the love. Each character, whether it's Andy's relationship with Barney, his cousin, his son Opie, the woman who raised him, Aunt B, they're all just such strong relationships, and you can't help but walk away and feel a little bit better about humanity. That's the hallmark of a great television show. And that's what the Andy Griffith Show did in the 60s. All right, we will move on to episode 2 of season 1. In the meantime, if you enjoyed my ramblings around the first episode of the Andy Griffith Show, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, even more importantly than that, thanks for watching.